Coming up.
It was a disaster, actually.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of patience.
Terms and conditions apply.
And folks, there's the lesson for today. Wonderful, wonderful stuff.
You'll love it.
Hashtag blessed.
Don't do that to me.
Creativity is an aching need for self-expression.
Or even a 60. I'm quite happy with a 60.
Pick a number, any number.
As soon as you went into character, you actually got much faster with it.
Anyway, listen, guys, it's been wonderful. Good night. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
And now, enjoy the podcast.
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that? How do you say that?
Hello and welcome to today's episode of How Do You Say That, sponsored by BritishVoiceover.co.uk, the podcast for voiceovers, podcasters and anyone else with a professional interest in how your script should sound. Let me introduce my co-host, it's Samantha Boffin.
Hello.
Now today's fun fact about Sam is that though her hair is naturally curly, she secretly wanted straight hair as a teenager and once let her best friend iron it before a party. That sounds like it could go wrong, Sam.
It went wrong. It did go wrong. It was a disaster, actually.
Oh.
Well, anyway, it didn't go. It didn't look like lovely straight hair. It just looked like frizzy, awful hair that had been ironed. And so that was
Not
a bit
good.
of a disaster. Yes, never did that again. And my co-host is Mark Rice, and all the houseplants in his house have names.
Yeah, and I talk to them. And when you talk to plants, they grow better.
Wow.
So I have...
Do they really, though, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. I have
Really?
Gloria the peace lily, and Fraser the frizzy plant that I don't know what his name is, and Fingers is because that one sticks
I
up.
don't wanna
They're
know.
not very good names, but all the plants do have names. It's weird that way. Well, of course, it's not just us, because every week we invite a voiceover guest to join us, and this week it's voice actor Darren Altman. Hello, Darren. Are you as weird as us?
Probably ever so slightly weirder. Thank you so much for
yes.
having me. That's great.
Well, welcome along, and welcome to How Do You Say That?
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So Darren is a voiceover artist and impressionist who you may remember reached the live semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent. Yay! Wow.
Yeah.
I do remember, yes.
He can be heard all over the world, voicing adverts for TV and radio, promos, playing characters in animations and computer games, in-store adverts, and so much more. He has won numerous awards for his work, including the prestigious One Voice and Fox Awards.
Indeed, lots of awards. He's also a presenter, and there's nothing he loves more than hosting events and award ceremonies. He's worked alongside some big names in Voice of God roles for award ceremonies. He also performs stand-up material in comedy clubs around the country and can be heard presenting shows on Radio Jackie across southwest London. And sorry, what don't you do, Darren?
Knitting.
Fair. Well, apart from the knitting, have you got a different fun fact for us?
Oh, fun fact. Here's a fun fact for you. I actually studied hypnosis, and I was a hypnotist. I used to go over around London with my magician and hypnosis friends, and we used to do what's called speed trance. So we used to put people under very, very quickly and stick their hands to tables and make them forget their names and do all sorts of stuff. I haven't done it in a while, but that was great fun. Hypnosis, yeah.
I feel like I might be in a trance already, so let's have a look at the first script of the show and ask, how do you say that? Play How Do You Say That?
Right now, I feel I'm finally getting the hang of this script thing. So I have
Excellent.
chosen the one genre that Darren hasn't done. He might have done these, but I've chosen audiobooks. But I chose one all about creativity. So I thought that it would be right up Darren's street.
Do you know something? You're absolutely 100% correct. I've never done an audiobook. I've never been asked. I probably have, like a couple of times, but I've got no desire. I think I would be.
Normally, Darren,
honestly,
I don't have the desire for it either.
It's not about the dough, so to speak. It's about the. I think I'd be rubbish at it, to be honest.
Oh, really?
And I don't have a lot of patience.
Right.
And I don't think I'd be any good at it. So if anyone approaches me, I would just say, do you know what? Contact Mark Rice, because it's not my bag, baby.
I'd probably pass them on to someone like Drew Campbell.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, how funny. So the chain of refusal, exactly. So
That's right, yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about this script then, Sam.
Well, this was from, it's quite a short book, actually, which is what attracted me. No, it isn't just what attracted me. The subject matter attracted me, actually. It was all about creativity and how we can harness it to make our lives better, if you like.
It feels like it's written from the first person.
Yes, I suppose it is really. Yes. I mean, it was written by a woman, and I guess I was her, interestingly, American woman, thinking about it. So I don't necessarily know why she chose a Brit. But she did. And I think, yes, I think it's got quite a lot of energy in it, or at least that's what I did with it. I put quite a lot of energy
it looks
into
to me quite naturalistic as well.
Yes, I think I think most audiobooks are these days. Didactic audiobooks wouldn't sell, I don't think. I don't think anyway.
Interesting.
I must be wrong, but...
So, Darren, I'll go first, then you'll have a go, and then Sam will show us what she actually did.
No pressure. Just enjoy it, Mark. You're going to be great. No pressure.
You'll love it.
I'm kind of feeling the pressure on this one right now. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's give it a go. Creativity is an aching need for self-expression and a longing for meaning. That's why the best creatives I know pull from their sense of childlike wonder, which means breaking free of mediocrity and taking a deep dive into who you were, who you are, and who you hope to be. So it asks, no, demands that you let go of your artificial boundaries and rediscover all your wonderful weirdness, the experiences that make you different from everyone else on the planet. And when does life ask that of you? Or when was the last time you could do that without feeling judged? That's why creativity is such a rush. It's the undeniable truth of who you are being recognised and embraced.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
That was good.
Come on.
As I read the line, when was the last time you could do that without feeling judged? I felt really, really judged.
Did you feel judged?
I mean, come on. There's a lesson. And folks, there's the lesson for today. Wonderful, wonderful stuff.
I'm going to be critical.
Yeah, Sam's going to go the other way now, Darren.
Well, no, I'm not, because you did a lovely naturalistic read, actually. It was really lovely. But it was a tad fast for an audiobook.
Okay, yes, okay.
That's all I would say, is that if I'm taking information in as a listener, I'm not sure I would have taken that information in.
Okay.
Necessarily. Having said that, I applaud your energy, because you did give it a lot and your naturalistic energy at that. I think you really kind of took on board that idea of it being the first person. And
I mean, you know me. I often need to be told to slow down anyway. We've come across this before in the podcast, yes. Absolutely.
I thought it sounded lovely. Yeah, natural is the word, like not forced, just really, great. I mean,
to be fair, Darren, I think it being written in the first person actually helped me there.
Yes.
Right.
To be fair, because it felt like I was telling the story in a way.
Yeah.
See, podcasts are my bag. I love running, and when I run, I very, very rarely listen to music, actually, and I listen to podcasts and interviews, and so I've never listened to it. So in terms of like what is the style of an audiobook, especially something written, like you say, in the first person, I wouldn't have a clue.
Of course, we can continue this discussion for as long as we like, but Darren, you don't get out of it. You still get to do the script. I mean, I saw your delaying tactic going on there. Yeah.
That's it. Anyway, listen, cuz, it's been wonderful. Good night. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.
Oh no, you do not get out of it that easily. I'm afraid.
Okay,
so I'd love to hear what you do with it.
Creativity is an aching need for self-expression and a longing for meaning. That's why the best creatives I know pull from their senses of childlike wonder, which means breaking free of mediocrity and taking a deep dive into who you were, who you are, and who you hope to be. So it asks, no, demands, that you let go of your artificial boundaries and rediscover all of your wonderful weirdness, the experiences that make you different from everyone else on the planet. And when does life ask that of you? Or when was the last time you could do that without feeling judged? That's why creativity is such a rush. It's the undeniable truth of who you are being recognised and embraced.
I love that pace. That pace was brilliant, wasn't it, Sam? Yeah, absolutely.
Beautifully listenable voice. Really lovely.
Absolutely. I think you were doing yourself down there, Darren, because that was really easy to follow.
Wow, thank you. I'm feeling bloody hell. Well, that's good. Do you do this with all your guests? Like just tuck them up like this?
Well, you know.
Wow, that was.
How
that
did
was
you
great.
feel doing it for somebody that doesn't normally do that sort of thing?
I felt a little bit tense halfway through, and I was just sort of telling myself to relax. It felt like being on a session, actually. And like I say, I don't know the genre or style. So if this was an actual session, I would definitely bow to both of your wisdom and thought on it, because I was just flying blind then in terms of the style.
But it is interesting what you say is with long scripts, of course, you sometimes feel as though you're on a train you can't get off, which can induce a little bit of panic. But I suppose you just find places to stop. But no, I very listenable.
Thank you.
As you say, lovely pace.
Well, let's find out what Sam did with it then, shall we, Darren? Let's see how the mistress does it.
Aye, aye.
Mistress.
I wasn't thinking that, but that does work.
Sorry, you can edit that out. That was my gift to you. Go on.
You know he'll keep
I
it in.
suspect I'll probably leave it in.
Okay. Creativity is an aching need for self-expression and a longing for meaning. That's why the best creatives I know pull from their sense of childlike wonder, which means breaking free of mediocrity and taking a deep dive into who you were, who you are, and who you hope to be. So it demands that you let go of your artificial boundaries and rediscover all your wonderful weirdness. The experiences that make you different from everyone else on the planet. And when does life ask that of you? Or when was the last time you could do that without feeling judged? That's why creativity is such a rush. It's the undeniable truth of who you are being recognised and embraced.
Oh, I love that. I loved particularly when you said your wonderful weirdness, because you really went down into it. That was absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
I thought you did that slightly quicker than I was expecting you to after what you'd said.
Okay. Yeah. I suppose perhaps, although I'd have to listen back, perhaps I varied the rhythm. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I did.
I think the 3 paragraphs almost are slightly different rhythms in themselves, aren't they?
Maybe. I'm not very slavish to paragraphs, but you might be right.
Actually, no, you're not, are you? Sometimes you just ignore the fact that there's an end of paragraph and the beginning of another paragraph. No, I've seen you do that before. And actually, quite a lot of our guests have said, you know, if you ignore the full stops and you carry on, you get a much different sense of rhythm about it.
Yeah, you do. You do.
And it was a lot of light and shade in there, and a lot of different paces, like little. So it held your attention because it wasn't like you're reading a corporate script. You were treating it
exactly.
Well, our friend, I don't know if you studied with Nancy, but, you know, that one thing that I got from studying with her, and I try it just to be as natural and sort of conversational and you know, lots of different changes in tone and pitch and you know, like wonderful weirdness. It's like Mark said, you know, it sort of plucks itself out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to entertain, otherwise why have you been booked?
That is Sam's mantra right now.
It's my mantra. You've got to be, because otherwise they may as well read it off a page.
Yeah.
Creativity is an aching need for self-expression and a longing for meaning.
Oh, that's so
Ladies
good.
and gentlemen, Stephen Hawking.
That is so good. Oh my God.
The universe has been... Sorry, carry on.
How do you say that?
So, of course, it's worthwhile remembering that these are real scripts we've been working on, but we've changed the names and some of the details to avoid copyright issues.
We have. Now, Darren, would you mind telling us a little bit about your script? It looks like a radio commercial.
Yeah, so it was this week, actually, and I think the funny thing is, it's a radio commercial. I think it's going on Talk Sport and Absolute and a few others, but also they wanted to put visuals to it and use it for Sky AdSmart.
Ooh.
So it was a funny
one that no one can work out what to charge for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know the one
that's
you mean.
Right, that's right. Pick a number, any number.
Yes, basically.
It's a bit clunky, like Season's Greetings 1 and all at the top.
Yeah.
It's a bit. I think it's a bit clunky, but just to sort of let you know what it is, it's an advert advertising Fulham FC, the football club's fixtures, and basically trying to flog tickets. So I looked at this and I said to the producer, like, does it need to be, you know, upbeat and exciting? Are you going for the sort of conversational read? Or are you going for the sort of London geezer thing? Because it's a football, you know, and it's on Talk Sport. And basically we did sort of all three.
Right,
So
okay.
I gave him about 6 versions, 2 of each, and we went from nice and conversational to sort of a bit geezery and then a bit higher energy. So I haven't heard which one he went for.
Oh, that's interesting. So you don't know which one it is?
Wow.
No,
Okay.
no.
Which one did you like?
You know, it doesn't really bother me. I just sort of get on with it and
Don't care as long as you get paid, right?
Also, it all sort of works, really, Mark. To be honest, you know, whether it's a nice, friendly, chatty read, whether it's a little bit geezery, or whether it's a sort of a bit high energy because. You know, it's
like a football commentator.
It just needs that oomph. So I don't.
The question that I have specifically for Sam, I'll ask it because Sam won't.
Thanks.
Is there a time constraint here?
30. Yeah, it's the 30. It's in a 30. Yeah.
Don't do that to me.
Sam would love it to be a 45.
Okay.
Or even a 60. I'm quite happy with a 60. Okay, all right.
I want to hear Sam's festive geezer.
Festive geezer, you want me to? All right, I might do festive geezer now you've said it. Right then.
Go for it.
Okay, so, right. Season's greetings, one and all. Christmas is just around the corner, when the most competitive league in the world meets the most wonderful time of the year. And at Craven Cottage, there is a fabulous feast of festive Fulham fixtures, all loaded with hopes, dreams and atmosphere. This is your chance to take in some brilliant Premier League action over Christmas and help Fulham wrap up as many home points as possible. So come all ye faithful and treat yourself to an early present. Book tickets now at tickets.fulhamfc.com. Terms and conditions apply.
See, I like that. As soon as you went into character, you actually got much faster with it.
Yeah, well.
I think that rattled along at quite a pace, Darren, actually, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that was probably 30. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, okay.
I didn't put the stopwatch on it, but yeah.
Okay. Cool.
That is a horrible tongue twister right in the middle of that, isn't it?
It is, and Sam breezed over it with ease.
Literally breezed over it. You're absolutely right. A fabulous feast of festive Fulham
Do you know
fixtures.
what I didn't make enough of, and I realised it as it whipped past me, was wrap up. Because, of course, there are lots of little
Badum-ching. Yes,
Christmassy messages in there, and I didn't make enough of wrap up. I was aware of that as I said goodbye to it.
The one thing that is interesting is that there's the advertising cadence. There's certain intonations which the producer asked me to bring out, and I'll try and get that in almost like a tune. It's like
I wondered that.
So it becomes more poetry. Yeah.
The way it's written on the page, and I did. When I looked at it, I thought, there wasn't an obvious rhyme, but I can see what you mean by the rhythm and the cadence of that then, because it is written in a very particular way on the page.
So, for example, I don't know who's going next, but if I remember, when the most competitive league in the world meets the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah,
Yes.
up and down.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can imagine.
All right. Well, I'll give it a go then. I'm not
Yes.
going to do cheeky chappy, I don't think.
Okay.
but I might head more towards commentator. I don't know. Right.
Okay.
Let's have a go. Season's greetings, one and all. Christmas is just around the corner, when the most competitive league in the world meets the most wonderful time of the year. And at Craven Cottage, there's a fabulous feast of festive Fulham fixtures, all loaded with hopes, dreams and atmosphere. This is your chance to take in some brilliant Premier League action over Christmas and help Fulham wrap up as many home points as possible. So come all ye faithful and treat yourself to an early present. Book tickets now at tickets.fulhamfc.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Perfect.
There you go. You got
Wonderful.
your wrap
There you
up.
go.
I think I only went wrap up because you'd talked about it already.
Oh,
I think
I
I
don't know.
might have missed that.
The other thing you did, and this is proof that I do bugger all of radio adverts, I hardly ever do them, is that book tickets now. You did that different.
Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, you took it down a notch. Now
Yeah.
I don't do many ads on. I do TV ads which don't have the same sort of ending as that. So you definitely took your voice down for that.
And that's written very much as an end radio tag thing, isn't it, Darren, to
Yeah.
be fair?
Yeah, the terms and conditions apply. You can just throw away because
Throw
it's
away,
just,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
it's just. I think that's just compliance, isn't it?
Now I want to hear how Darren did it.
Yes, indeed. And I think you have to pick one of the ways, Darren, really, if you did it several different ways.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do a sort of nice, because you've done the sort of football comment, so I'll just do a sort of nice, upbeat, friendly, lot of attitude and see how that goes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, brilliant.
Okay. Season's greetings, one and all. Christmas is just around the corner, when the most competitive league in the world meets the most wonderful time of the year. And at Craven Cottage, there's a fabulous feast of festive Fulham fixtures, all loaded with hopes, dreams and atmosphere. This is your chance to take in some brilliant Premier League action over Christmas and help Fulham wrap up as many home points as possible. So come all ye faithful and treat yourself to an early Christmas present. Book tickets now at tickets.fulhamfc.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, that is so practiced. It's so obviously that you do a lot of this kind of thing, Darren. That was lovely. It really was. I have to say, what I really noticed was you really took the line, some brilliant Premier League action. You pulled out brilliant and it was almost standing out by itself there, which I don't think either Sam or I did.
I certainly didn't.
As you know, Mark, I'm a radio fan. I love radio. I adore it, and it's just and that is the thing, isn't it? I think what we're talking about is sounds. Sam knows the genre of audiobooks well, so that sound is in your head. I don't, so it's not in mine. Radio adverts are in my head. I listen to 1,000 adverts a day, and your thing is your thing, so it's all about, it's like being a musician, you can't play it if you can't hear it.
Yep.
It's why if you want to break into a particular genre, you need to be really immersed in that genre.
Yes.
Because there's no point you thinking, I wouldn't mind doing some video games, actually.
Yeah.
Because if you don't play video games or you haven't, you don't actually know what is needed of you.
Yeah.
I often say this to people. If you want to get good at a particular genre, then listen to that particular genre. Because you're absolutely right. What you did there, Darren, was you built and built and built as that advert went on. So you started somewhere and you absolutely kept going. So somebody less initiated than that either might have started too high with nowhere to go.
Yeah, true.
Or like me, never really built the whole thing in the first place. But you need to know your stuff. You need to know what you're doing.
How do you say that?
Right. So that was the straight part of the script, but now it's the section of the show where anything can happen because it's the wild card section. And so
the wild card section.
It's Sam first this week, so I'm going to be picking her wild card for her. Okay. So I'm going to spin the wild card generator. Oh, all right. So okay. Oh, I think you'll like this.
Okay.
Not sure. I'm actually going to get you to do the Craven Cottage commercial, but as a really, really old lady.
Oh, my lordy.
Wow.
A really old lady.
Ancient little old lady. Okay.
Season's greetings, one and all. Christmas is just around the corner, when the most competitive league in the world meets the most wonderful time of the year. And at Craven Cottage, there's a fabulous feast of festive Fulham fixtures, all loaded with hopes, dreams, and atmosphere. This is your chance, everyone, to take in some brilliant Premier League action over Christmas and help Fulham wrap up as many home points as possible. So, come, all ye faithful, and treat yourself to an early present. Book tickets now at tickets.fulhamfc.com or something. Anyway, terms and conditions apply.
It's a really nice characterisation, that.
I don't know if that was very good.
I thought it began quite jolly. It was almost Mrs. Claus at the beginning.
Was it?
But you got the age in there.
Brilliant. And the good thing is you managed to fit it into 30 seconds, Sam, so that was fantastic.
Extraordinary, isn't it? When you try, you can do these things. That's what I'm impressed about.
Did you do anything different with your posture, for instance?
Yeah, I stood very differently, and I did. But I did. What was interesting, and then kind of did things with my hands that I wouldn't normally do. I won't tell you what.
I'm sure I want to know.
What was interesting, though, of course, if you've got a script that's written for a little old lady, there's light and shade in it that I actually struggled to get into that. And in the middle, I thought, I'm bored of myself speaking now. I mean... that's actually a really poor excuse, because you should be able to kind of take a character into any situation. So,
I like that though. I like that character.
I do like ask to play old men. I think it's a really fun thing. It's your mouth changes and the way you articulate words. It's very fun.
I don't think you're going to get off that lightly, to be honest, Darren. Sam's going to suggest for you to do.
I am. I'm going to spin the wheel. Okay, I'll give you this one. As if debating in the Houses of Parliament.
Can we give him a politician to do?
Wow.
Oh, yes, we could give you a specific politician.
I mean, the obvious one is Boris, isn't it? I get asked to do him so much.
Let's go with Boris. I quite like that. I quite like, because your Boris is absolutely superb.
Okay.
Which script, Sam? Which script are you going to give him to do?
My instinct is that script one is easier to do that with.
Okay, here we go. Let me just need to get into character. Yes, here we go. Now, creativity is an aching need for self-expression and a longing for meaning. Yes, and that's why the best creatives, my friends I know, pull from their senses of childlike wonder, which means breaking free of mediocrity and taking a deep dive into who you were, who you are, and who you hope to be. Yes, so it asks, no demands, that you let go of your artificial boundaries and rediscover all your wonderful weirdnesses, the experiences that make you different from everyone else on the planet. Yes, and when does life ask that of you, my friends, or when was the last time you could do that without feeling judged? Yes, that's why creativity is such a rush. Yes, it is the undeniable truth of who you are being recognized and embraced. And I say to you, castigat, ridendo, mores, huzzah, yes.
I suspect that's probably the last time Boris talked about undeniable truth, to be fair. That was brilliant.
So good.
But to be able to bring out all of the differences in the character within that script is lovely.
What you can't see is that I was hunched over, doing the thumb, waving my arms around, messing up I have to do all that, because otherwise it's not, I can't stand still. I have to, as I'm talking to you, my arms are outstretched, and it's so I have to do it, because you have to be him.
We couldn't see it, but we talk very often on the podcast about the physicality of going into any other character.
Absolutely, yeah.
What was fascinating about that is Boris being Boris, as it were, or certainly our imagination of what Boris would be like. It doesn't really matter what he was saying, so he didn't really care what he was saying.
Exactly.
And yet you as a voice artist have to know exactly what you're saying so that you can muck it up and sound as though you don't know what you're saying. It's a bit like, do you know what I mean? It's a bit like actors who are saying, right, you've got to be an out of control skier who can't ski. You get the best stunt skiers to do that bit.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can't muck it up. So I found that fascinating, that on the one hand, this was Boris not caring or giving a toss about what he was saying, but you had to absolutely understand everything about it. It was fascinating to listen to, actually, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know quite how I follow that, but you get to choose a style or a genre for me, Darren, and which script you'd like me to have a go at.
Okay, I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do script 2. And I think it needs to be someone who is maybe waiting to go in a doctor's surgery and is incredibly nervous. Nervous.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good. It's like, all right. Season's greetings, one and all. Christmas is just around the corner. When the most competitive league in the world meets the most wonderful time of the year. At Craven Cottage, there's a fabulous festive fixtures, all loaded with hopes and dreams and atmosphere. This is your chance to take in some brilliant Premier League action over Christmas and help wrap up as many home points as possible. So, come on, ye faithful, treat yourself to an early present. Book tickets now at tickets.fulhamfc.com. Terms and Terms and conditions apply.
The doctor will see you now.
Don't throw up.
Let's go. Hooray.
Very good, very good.
Very good.
It's the tension in the voice, Sam. For me, it was the tension, the whole tension, very tense. Very good.
And actually playing not just a character, but a character with something to do, as it were, seems, a much more satisfying place to
yes,
start,
I know what you
as
mean.
it were.
Yes,
Do you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Yep.
I remember that for future wildcards, actually.
Well, if you want to play along in the privacy of your own booths, we've put the scripts in the show notes, so you can have a try yourself as well.
Yes, absolutely. And we would love to hear from you if you have any wildcard genres you would like us to have a go at in a future episode. Or alternatively, simply add them to the wildcard generator and we'll put it in the show notes so you can do that.
So, to our voiceover question this week, Darren, this one's definitely for you, okay? You do a lot of brilliant impersonations. Do you have a process for learning a new one that we may be able to glean some, if we're creating a character, we can maybe glean some help from that?
Well, it's a whole manner of things. I mean, it's tone, so whether they're high, whether they're low, where they sit in terms of range. Do they have any vocal inflections? By that I mean, are they gruff? Is there a sort of crack? Is there anything like for Boris, the way he says his T, so it's the way you form your mouth. Also, the physicality. How do they look? The pace, the timing. Are they fast? Are they slow? Any vocal inflections? Like I said, is there any slight sort of I won't say defects, but impediments or anything like quirks? Let's call them quirks. And you put all that together. The tone, the pace, the timing, the idiosyncrasies, any accents, where they're from, if you want to research and find out where they're from, and then you put that all together. Do they stutter? Are they, then again, it gives you a very good, a bigger picture. And also, if you know what they look like, and you know what they look like as well, like we were saying with the Boris, that physicality is something that can really help, and can just be a dimension which you wouldn't necessarily see, obviously, if you're listening to it, but it's there because you're without sounding too sort of pretentious or arty-farty or whatever, but it's the fully rounded, it's the whole thing. It's not just the voice, it's the whole physicality.
So you playing around in the way that you do with all of those different things, is that something you always did, even as a little boy? Or is it something that you learned to do because you wanted to do it as you got older, if you see what I mean? You thought, I can see that other people do that, and I'd like to do something similar.
So I was a professional drummer for years. So I studied at music college. I went to Leeds College of Music, Trinity, and then the Guildhall, and that's what I did for years, like big bands, jazz sessions, film, TV, and all of that. But I've always had a good ear, like for voices. I think it's because I've got a musical ear. So I would do impressions as a kid, So for example, when I was a kid, Roger Moore was James Bond. Yeah. So you don't touch that, darling. We don't want you leaving so soon. And and so instinctively you lower your voice and talk like this. And I would do that, and of course, say goodnight to the man in the moon, Jessica. Yes, and all of that. So I would have, God, I'm showing my age now. So
just a little bit,
yeah. So I would have a good ear, and automatically. So, for example, someone like Craig Cash from Gogglebox. And in Derby, the city kids.
Nice.
In Blackpool, Peter and his little sister Sophie. So he's got that rasp at the back of his voice, and then the tune goes down like that. So it's a combination of where his voice is, the at the back of the throat, and the melody as well.
I love that taking it to musicality, Darren. It makes so much sense with what you've just explained.
And you hone in on those distinctive voices, because you're right, Craig's got a very distinctive voice.
Yeah.
Are you really aware of those distinctive voices that are out
Some
there.
of it would be subconscious. And
Yeah.
so, for example, what's his name? Who does Come Dine With Me? Tonight,
Dave
Mark
Lamb,
is cooking. Dave Lamb. So tonight, Mark is in the kitchen cooking fajitas. Olé! It's all of that.
Yeah.
So there are things that you can latch onto.
It is a fascinating delve and deep dive into voices. Let me say a huge thank you to our guest, Darren Altman.
Yes.
Darren, I hope you've enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much. What a great fun we've had. Honestly, thank you. And the scripts were wow. Yeah, no pressure. No pressure.
I shall make sure I put all of your details in the show notes so that people can find you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And remember, you can subscribe to the podcast on your favourite podcast platform, and the latest episode will magically appear on your device every Friday.
Certainly will. That's it for this week, though. Thanks again to Darren for being a superb guest and all the other characters he brought with him.
Yes.
Tune in next week for more scripts and another fabulous voiceover guest when we'll be asking, we say the name of the podcast here, so pick a character, Darren, because we're all going to say it together. When we'll be asking...
How do you say that?
Yes, exactly, yes.
How do you say that?